The all-new expansion of PS Plus is one of the biggest PlayStation shake-ups in years, offering a worthwhile deal for those looking to build up their libraries. But with some staggered info releases, multiple tiers to get on board with, multiple release dates to get in your head, and 5 generations of content on offer, it can be a little confusing as to what you're getting, how much for, and when exactly you can expect to get it. And that is why I am here, to break down everything PS Plus as quickly and clearly as possible ahead of the new relaunch, so you can make the most informed decisions on this latest subscription offering from Sony. The all-new PS Plus system is essentially a merger between traditional PS Plus and PS Now, the online streaming subscription, allowing players to access hundreds of games in an ever-evolving and expanding library, pretty much making Sony's own version of Game Pass a reality. However, there are a couple of standout features here that differentiate this PS Plus from Game Pass. First, Sony is splitting the service into 3 tiers at 3 different price points, offering more or less depending on what you want as a player. Secondly, the content in question, or the games included, is spanning the PlayStation 1, 2, 3, PSP, PS4 and PS5 generations, depending on which tier you go for. The launch of the new PS Plus tiers differs depending on your region. If you are here in the UK like us, then June 23rd is the day of reckoning. The same goes for Europe, Australia and New Zealand. However, practically anywhere else in the world will be getting access to PS Plus early. Asia will see it launch on May 24th, Japan on June 2nd and America on June 13th. But let's get into those tiers. With 3 to choose from, players will decide between PS Plus Essential, PS Plus Extra and PS Plus Premium. There's also a replacement for Premium titled Deluxe, but we'll get into that later. PS Plus Essential is the most basic package and it's just the unchanged version of PS Plus we've all been enjoying for years. That means free monthly games the first Tuesday of every month, discounts on the PlayStation Store and access to multiplayer games. This one comes in at the same price as it has been for the last couple of years, making it just shy of 50 quid in the UK and $60 in the US yearly. Stepping up a bit is PS Plus Extra, which essentially melds PS Plus and PS Now together with the added inclusion of PS5 titles, something that previously wasn't available through PS Now. This means that players have access to a library of up to 400 PS4 and PS5 games, with titles like Returnal and the director's cuts of Death Stranding and Ghost of Tsushima. This tier sees games removed and added in the middle of each month, with the amount of games added varying every time. Players shouldn't, however, expect first-party titles like God of War Ragnarok to arrive on day one on this service like Game Pass. I think a lot of players will be expecting a carbon copy of Game Pass, so just to reiterate, you will not get first-party titles on day one through PS Plus. This tier will come in at $83.99 in the UK and $99.99 in the US yearly. And finally, we have the cream of the crop, PS Plus Premium, which combines the previous 2 tiers and adds classic games from the PS1, 2, 3 and PSP to the fold. PS1, 2 and PSP titles will be downloadable, however PS3 games will only be available via cloud gaming. Most games are said to be receiving boost to frame rate and resolution, and even some new interfaces and rewind functionalities for the PS1 games. This tier brings in a reported 340 titles across these generations, including games like Ape Escape, Worms Armageddon and Infamous. The classic games library will receive the same kind of additions and removals in the middle of each month. As an added benefit to this tier, players will also be able to try out time-limited game trials for titles like Horizon Forbidden West. These are demos that last on average around 2 to 3 hours, where any trophies and progress will be carried over if you decide to purchase the full game. Your game time counter only counts when you're in the game as well, so there is no immediate rush. This tier is the most expensive of the bunch, of course, coming in at $99.99 in the UK and $119.99 in the US yearly. There is one last tier available to countries or areas that don't support game streaming, titled PS Plus Deluxe. It is essentially the exact same as Premium without the inclusion of PS3 game streaming. Sony claims that cloud gaming requires a minimum internet speed of 5 megabits per second, with that boosting to 15 megabits per second for 1080p games. Deluxe will be cheaper than Premium, but at this moment a price hasn't been confirmed. So just to round up, that's PS Plus Essential keeping the same package as before with discounts, free monthly games and multiplayer. PS Plus Extra bringing a similar offering to PS Now with a changing library of downloadable PS4 and PS5 games. PS Plus Premium offering game trials, streamed PS3 games and downloadable PS1, 2 and PSP games. And finally, PS Plus Deluxe, acting as a reduced priced alternative to Premium for those with slower internet speeds, with the only removal being streamed PS3 games. And just as a final addition to those that happen to have speedy internet, you will have the options to stream most, if not all of the games included across the tiers if you don't feel like downloading them and filling up that precious hard drive space. So that means PS3 can only be streamed, but PS1, 2, 4, 5 and PSP can be streamed or downloaded. Hopefully this explainer clears the air a little around the whole confusion of tiers and dates and so on. Unfortunately, at this time we can't include a full list of every game that will arrive with the service, but you can certainly expect to see a video just like that and more PS Plus content right here on Push Square, so be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you next time.